Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me. Welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare challenge. I've had some major technical issues here. I don't know what was going on. Tried to get started, but hope everyone can hear me. I'm here with John, Sheila, Brandon, and Maggie for our bi-weekly performances of impromptu Shakespeare monologues and scenes chosen randomly by the Wheel of Shakespeare. Based on a randomly chosen order, we have Sheila is up first, then Brandon, then myself. Okay, good. Here you are. Wheel added. Great. Okay, so Sheila is going to do the first monologue. Brandon is on deck. She'll go after Sheila does. Oh, Portia, Quality of Mercy.
Yeah.
Act 4, Scene 1. Whenever you're ready.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself, and earthly power doth then show likest gods when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, this strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there. Scene.
Okay, thank you, Sheila. Okay, Brandon is up, and then I'm on deck, and then Maggie, and then John. Hello, Brandon. Welcome back. It's been a while. Good to have you back.
Thank you. And I have I'm on camera, also I have to work on this. It's a new device, so I have to work on it, make it lighter, but at least I'm on camera.
It seems like it's supposed to be. Anyway, we're spinning for you, and you're gonna do Othello. Actually, this is we spun this one last week, and I think it was Sheila who got it, but whoever got it ended up doing. I kept it on the wheel because they chose the wrong monologue, so it was a good one, but we couldn't keep it on here. We start with when Iago returns and Othello says "Avaunt, be gone." I think Iago has a few lines back. You can just ignore those. Get into the farewell, the limited troops. That one. Yeah, skip the Iago lines. So say "Avaunt, be gone" to Iago. He'll say and just make it continuous. So create the banner for Iago.
So it's the beginning?
Yeah, you can start from "Avaunt, be gone," and Iago says some stuff in response, which you can just ignore and then just kind of plow on with the tirade that Othello launches there. Oh, I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry. I should have said Othello. I created the banner for Iago, not. Yeah, this is Othello yelling at Iago. Okay, there we go. That's the correct banner. So.
Yeah, I can. I'm lost. $55.
Do you want us to come back to you? I'll just go and then.
Will you give me the opening line, because I'm not finding it. I'm
Avant, be gone, and then
okay. That's
I know in the body of it after Younger says that a farewell.
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Do you want me to just go ahead and go for myself and come back to you?
Please, yes.
Okay, I'll give you some time to find it. Okay, spin for myself. The forward. Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he would have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enow about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith. Here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator! Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor cometh for stealing out a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock, never at quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon! Anon! I pray you, remember the porter. Let's see if Brandon has found her monologue.
It's act 3, scene 3, line 355, and I
Might be it. Still can't find it.
no.
Would you like me to spin? Would you like me to spin again for you?
Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I, Edward, will use women honorably. Henry VI, Part 3, Act 3, Scene 2. This is the future Richard III, but here he's Richard, Duke
Okay.
of Gloucester. So, I, Edward, will use women honorably.
Henry VI. Okay. Part 2. Part 3. Okay. I, Edward, will use women honorably. Would he ever wasted, marrow, bones, and all, that from his loins no hopeful branch may spring to cross me from the golden time I look for? And yet, between my soul's desire and me, the lustful Edward's title buried is Clarence, Henry, and his son, young Edward, and all the unlooked for issue of their bodies, to take their rooms ere I can place myself a cold premeditation for my purpose. Why then, I do but dream on sovereignty, like one that stands upon a promontory and spies a far off shore where he would tread, wishing his foot were equal with his eye, and chides the sea that sunders him from thence, saying he'll lade it dry to have his way. So I too wish the crown, being so far off, and so I chide the means that keeps me from it. And so I say, I'll cut the causes off, flattering me with impossibilities, my eyes too quick, my heart overweens too much. Useless my hand and strength could equal them. Well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can the world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought. And more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and I should not deal in her soft laws. She did corrupt frail nature with some bribe to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity to mock my body, to shape my legs of an unequal size, to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos or an unlucked bear whelp, that it carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved? Oh, monstrous fault to harbor such a thought. Then, since this earth affords no joy for me but to command, to check, no orbit, to o'erbear such as are a better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown, and whiles I live to account this world but hell, until my misshapen trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown. For many lives stand between me and home, and I, like one lost in a thorny wood that rends the thorns and rent it with the thorns, seeking the way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find out, torment myself to catch the English crown, and from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why I can smile and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors in the mermaid shell. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and like a Sinon, take another Troy. I can add colors to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiavellia to school. Can I do this and cannot get a crown? Tut! Were it further off, I'd pluck it down. See.
Okay, great. Thank you. So now we have Maggie and then John.
Hi.
Hi, Maggie.
I'm going to ask that Mark, if you'll just please stay on until I find
Oh,
the
yeah, I
line.
saw that. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make sure you find it.
Thanks.
Okay. Sitting
Just
for
in
Maggie,
case the need to ask.
and then John's on deck. Hamlet, all occasions.
And we haven't had this recently. Also, I'm on my phone, which is a little hard to manage. And I did it because of my connection issue, but sometimes it has sounded to me like it's still not consistent. So I apologize if that's true.
You sound okay to me now. Maybe when you try to do the monologue, we'll see. But for right now, you sound fine. Okay.
Good. Okay. I'm almost there. 4-4. A plane in Denmark. Okay, I have it.
Okay, whatever.
All right. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, be looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fust in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which, quartered, hath but one part wisdom and ever three parts coward, I do not know. Why yet I live to say, this thing's to do, sith I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at the stake. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? While to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain? Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. Thank you.
Okay, great. So lastly, we have John, and then with only 5 of us today, I think we have time to do another round of monologues before we spin for scenes. So unless anyone has any objection, we'll do John's monologue, and then on deck is Maggie to go for the. Is Sheila. Sheila will go for the second round after John does. King Henry, we are at the tennis ball scene. After you as tennis balls, my liege, we are glad to do for Henry for Act 1, Scene 2. You got it?
Not yet, but I'll be there in just a second.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. What? 5, Act 1, Scene 2. Hold on, maybe I've got the wrong thing. No, Act 1, Scene 2, right? Is that correct? It must be way at the bottom then.
Yes, towards the end.
I've got
tennis.
it. Right. Yeah, I have it. Let me see here. We are glad the dolphin is so pleasant with us. His present and your pains we thank you for. When we have marched our rackets to these balls, we will, in France, by God's grace, play a set, shall strike his father's crown into the hazard. Tell him he had made a match with such a wrangler that all the courts of France will be disturbed with chases. And we understand him well, how he does o'er us with our wilder days, not measuring what use we made of them. We never valued this foreseat of England, and therefore living hence did give ourselves to barbarous license, as 'tis ever common that men are merriest when they are from home. But tell the dolphin I will keep my state, be like a king, and show my sail of greatness when I do rouse me in my throne of France. For that I have laid by my majesty and plotted like a man for working days, But I will rise there with so full a glory that I will dazzle all the eyes of France. Yea, strike the Dauphin blind to look on us, and tell the pleasant prince this mock of his hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many a thousand widows shall this mock out of their dear husbands, mock mothers from their sons, mock castles down, and some are yet ungotten and unborn that shall have cause to curse the Dauphin's scorn. But this all lies within the will of God, to whom I do appeal, and in those named, and in whose name tell you that often I am coming on, to venge me as I may, and to put forth my rightful hand in a well hallowed cause. So get you hence in peace, and tell the Dauphin his jest will saver, uh, but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey them with safe conduct. Fare you well. Saber.
Okay, thank you, John. We're back to Sheila for round 2 of monologues, and she's going to start off round 2 with John is gone. He's preparing his speech. He thinks I am a prophet. Act 2, Scene 1, Richard II.
Got it.
Okay, whenever you're
Methinks I am a prophet new inspired, and thus, expiring, do foretell of him. His rash, fierce blaze of riot cannot last, for violent fires soon burn out themselves. Small showers last long, but sudden storms are short. He tires betimes, that spurs too fast betimes. With eager feeding, food doth choke the feeder. Light vanity, insatiate cormorant, consuming mien, soon preys upon itself. This royal throne of kings, this sceptred isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars, this other Eden, demi-paradise, this fortress built by nature for herself against infection and the hand of war, this happy breed of men, this little world, this precious stone set in the silver sea, which serves it in the office of a wall, or as a moat defensive to a house against the envy of less happier lands. This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England, this nurse, this teeming womb of royal kings, feared by their breed and famous by their birth, renowned for their deeds as far from home for Christian service and true chivalry as in the sepulchre and stubborn Jewry of the world's ransom. Blessed Mary's Son, this land of such dear souls, this dear, dear land, dear for her reputation throughout the world, is now leased out. I die pronouncing it, like to a tenement or pelting farm. England, bound in with the triumphant sea, whose rocky shore beats back the envious siege of watery Neptune, is now bound in with shame, with inky blots and rotten parchment bonds. That England that was wont to conquer others hath made a shameful conquest of itself. Would the scandal vanish with my life, how happy then were my ensuing death. Scene.
Okay, great. So next up we have Brannon, and then myself on deck. We'll go after she does. Yago, let's see what says I play the villain. Act 2, Scene 3,
244.
toward the end. You need us to come back to you again?
That's fine, yeah.
So I'll spin for myself while she's looking for Yago Mom. Such a bad connection today. I don't know what is the issue. Out then Scott. Wheel is stuck on Macbeth for me today. Here's a spot. How Thames spot? How'd I say? 1, 2. Why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Why, my lord? Why? A soldier and afeard? What need we fear who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? But will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting. Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh. Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo is married. He cannot come out on his grave. To bed! To bed! There's knocking at the gate. Come, 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 come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed! To bed! To bed! Have you found yours?
Yes, I have it. Oh, that was right. Okay. And what's he then that says, I play the villain? This advice is free, I give and honest, probable to thinking and indeed the course to win the more again. For 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She's framed as fruitful as the free elements. And then for her to win the more, were it to renounce his baptism, all sills and symbols of redeemed sin, his soul is so enfettered to her love that she may unmake to what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function. How am I then the villain to counsel Cassio to this parallel course, directly to his good? Divinity of hell. When devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows, as I do now, for whilst this honest fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she for him pleads strongly to the Moor, I'll pour this pestilence into his ear. Then she repels him for her body's lust, and by how much she strives to do him harm, to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the Moor. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all. See?
Great. Thank you. So now we have Maggie and John to do their second monologues. Then we'll spin for scenes. Maggie, your second monologue will be. Ghost by that incestuous beast.
Okay. Hamlet.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle, and then your response of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, whenever.
I, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, oh, wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce, won to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness court it in the shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebanon in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor doth posset a curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood, so did it mine. And a most instant tetter barked about, most laser-like, with vile and loathsome crust all my smooth body. Thus was I sleeping, by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unanelled, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible! Oh, horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his ineffectual fire. Adieu, adieu. Hamlet, remember me. Thank you.
Okay, great. So last we have one more monologue from John, and then we'll spin for scenes. So the last monologue before we spin for scenes will be Queen Catherine from Come to the
I'm
Age.
sorry. I'm sorry. I am having a bad day and I don't feel well. I have to go. Apologies, please.
Okay,
Apologies. Thank
you
you.
didn't have to wait till it was your turn to tell us that. You could have just let. But thank you for joining us. Okay, so hope John feels better. Let's keep. Okay, give me a second. I'll bring up. So we got four of us to do scenes now. Okay, yeah, so four. All right, so let's spin for scenes for the four of us. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Act 1, Scene 7. All's Well, Helena and Carolus. Act 1, Scene 1, so that'd be toward the end. So Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Parolles, or Helena are the roles. Sheila gets the first choice. What would you like?
I'll do the lady.
Lady, okay, Sheila is Lady Macbeth. Granted. Brandon, what would you like?
I'll do Macbeth.
Okay.
What is the act and scene? I'm sorry.
Act 1, Scene 7. And so
Okay.
I'll take Parolles, and that leaves Maggie to be Helena. So Maggie and I will do Helena and Parolles. All's well that ends well. Act 1, Scene 1. After Brandon and Sheila do Macbeth and Lady Macbeth.
You want to?
Sorry, what Sheila? I actually took you out. What were you saying?
No, you took Brandon out. I'm saying you could take me out so that Brandon can do the monologue.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. We're done when 'tis done, then 'twere well if we're done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here upon this bank and shell of time, we jump the life to come. But in those cases, we still have judgment here, that we must teach bloody instructions, which being taught turn to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to his own lips. He's here in a double trust. First is, I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murder shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties to meek hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity like a naked newborn babe, striding the blast of heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps myself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He hath almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have thought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest lost, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale, and what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemed the ornament of life, and live a coward in thy own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Pray thee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail! But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only, when in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forward men, children only, for thy undaunted metal shall compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and use their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death?
I am settled and binned up, each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away and mark the time with this fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Okay. Great. So now we got myself to do Parolles and Helena to finish off. Okay, so
I got it.
Helena's saying
Okay.
that long. Just do it from inter. Let's go from inter Parolles, and you say the aside one that goes with. Is that where you were going to start from?
Well, I was hoping to get the monologue because Helen doesn't say us very much the rest of the time.
Oh, we're that.
Mostly
Okay,
it's
yeah.
Parolles.
So you want me to take myself out and start with
Would you?
that all? Sure.
Thank you. Oh, were that all? I think not on my father, and these great tears grace his remembrance more than those I shed for him. What was he like? I have forgot him. My imagination carries no favor in't but Bertram's. I am undone. There is no living, none, if Bertram be away. 'Twere all one that I should love a bright particular star, and think to wed it, he is so above me. In his bright radiance and collateral light must I be comforted, not in his sphere. The ambition in my love thus plagues itself. The hind that would be mated by the lion must die for love. 'Twas pretty, though plague, to see him every hour, to sit and draw his arched eyebrows, his hawking eye, his curls in our heart's table. Heart too capable of every line and trick of his sweet favor, but now he's gone, and my idolatrous fancy must sanctify his relics. Who comes here? One that goes with him. I love him for his sake, yet I know him a notorious liar, think him a great way fool, solely a coward. Yet these fixed evils sit so fit in him that they take place when virtue's steely bones look bleak in the cold wind. Withal, full oft we see cold wisdom waiting on superfluous folly.
Save you, fair queen.
And you, monarch,
No.
are you meditating? Oops, and no.
Are you meditating on virginity?
Aye, you have some stain of soldier in you. Let me ask you a question. Man is enemy to virginity. How may we barricado it against him?
Keep him out.
But he assails, and our virginity, though valiant in the defense, yet is weak. Unfold to us some warlike resistance.
There is none. Man sitting down before you will undermine you and blow you up.
Oh, bless our poor virginity from underminers and blowers up. Is there no military policy how virgins might blow up men?
Virginity being blown down, man will quickly be blown up. Marry, and blowing him down again with the breach yourselves made, you lose your city. It is not politic in the commonwealth of nature to increase, and there was never a virgin got lost till virginity was first lost. That you are made of is metal to make virgins. Virginity being once lost may be 10 times found. By being ever kept, it is ever lost. 'Tis too cold a companion. Away with it!
I will stand for it a little, though therefore I die a virgin.
There's little can be saidn't. 'Tis against the rule of nature. To speak on the part of virginity is to accuse your mothers, which is most infallible disobedience. He that hangs himself is a virgin. Virginity murders itself and should be buried in highways out of all sanctified limit, and is a desperate offendress against nature. Virginity breeds mites, much like a cheese, consumes itself to the very paring, and so dies with feeding his own stomach. Besides, virginity is peevish, proud, idle, made of self-love, which is the most inhibited sin in the canon. Keep it not. You cannot choose but lose by it. Out with it. Then 10 years it will make itself 10, which is goodly increase, and the principle itself not much the worse. Away with it!
Well, how might one, oops. How might one do, sir, to lose it to her own liking?
Let me see. Marry, ill to like him that ne'er it likes. 'Tis a commodity will lose the gloss with lying. The longer kept, the less worth. Off with it! While it is vendible, answer the time of request. Virginity, like an old courtier, wears her cap out of fashion, richly suited but unsuitable, just like the brooch and the toothpick, which wear not now. Your date is better in your pie and your porridge than in your cheek. And your virginity, your old virginity, is like one of our French withered pears. It looks ill, it eats dryly. Marry, 'tis a withered pear. It was formerly better. Marry, yet 'tis a withered pear. Will you anything with it?
Not my virginity yet. There shall your master have 1,000 loves, a mother and a mistress and a friend, a phoenix, captain and an enemy, a guide, a goddess and a sovereign, a counselor, a traitress and a dear. His humble ambition, proud humility, his jarring concord and his discord dulcet, his faith, his sweet disaster, with a world of pretty, fond, adoptious Christendoms that blinking Cupid gossips. Now shall he, I know not what he shall. God send him well. The court's a learning place, and he is one
With one in faith.
that I wish well. 'Tis pity
What's pity?
that wishing well had not a body in't, which might be felt, that we, the poorer born, whose baser stars do shut us up in wishes, might with effects of them follow our friends, and show what we alone must think, which never returns us thanks.
Little Helen, farewell. If I can remember thee, I will think of thee at court.
Monsieur Paroles, you were born under a charitable star.
Under Mars, I.
I especially think under Mars.
Why under Mars?
The wars have so kept you under that you must needs be born under Mars.
When he was predominant.
When he was retrograde, I think, rather.
Why think you so?
You go so much backward when you fight.
That's for advantage.
So is running away when fear proposes the safety. But the composition that your valor and fear makes in you is a virtue of good wing, and I like the wear well.
I am so full of business I cannot answer thee acutely. I will return perfect courtier, in the which my instruction shall serve to naturalize thee, so thou wilt be capable of a courtier's counsel, and understand what advice shall thrust upon thee. Else thou diest in thine unthankfulness, and thine ignorance makes thee away. Farewell. When thou hast leisure, say thy prayers. When thou hast none, remember thy friends. Get thee a good husband, and use him as he uses thee. And so, farewell.
Our remedies oft in ourselves do lie, which we ascribe to heaven. The fated sky gives us free scope, only doth backward pull our slow designs when we ourselves are dull. What power is it which mounts my love so high that makes me see and cannot feed mine eye? The mightiest space in fortune nature brings to join like likes and kiss like native things. Impossible be strange attempts to those that weigh their pains in sense, and do suppose with half been cannot be. Who ever strove to show her merit that did miss her love? The king's disease, my project may deceive me, but my intents are fixed and will not leave me. Thank you.
Okay, great. So good work today, everybody. I'm glad to have had another round quickly because we had a fifth Saturday in March. But again, we'll go back to our bi-weekly schedule. So I'll see you all again same time 2 weeks from now. So I'll see you then for the next Wheel of Shakespeare challenge on, I believe, the 12th it'll be. So see you guys then. Bye now.